Hey, welcome to Draw Tip Tuesday. My name is Koosje Koenen and I'm so happy that you're here because we get to draw together. And today I have a fun demo for you. I went to a cafe to draw there. And it was interesting because I was actually planning to draw the people around me, but the cafe was completely emptying out as I was actually setting up, ordering my coffee and starting to draw. However, I pivoted. That's what you do as an artist. You just come up with a different idea or a solution for your problem. Anyway, I saw that there were some repeating colors in the room and some repeating patterns, kind of. And I think patterns and repetition is super interesting when it comes to art. So that was basically what I looked at when I started drawing. And by the end of my drawing, actually people had trickled in again in the cafe. So it was a win-win. Okay. Without further ado, let's dive into the demo and I will talk about the process while I show you the video. Okay, I will warn you, I am at a wobbly table, so you will see that the camera is a little bit moving all the time, every time that I am putting pressure on my art tools. Here's my first art tool, the Quick Sticks gouache stick. It looks a little bit like a glue stick and it has poster paint or gouache in it. And that means that you can make really big marks in a simple way. You can't really draw with them, or, well, maybe you can, but I don't. I just really use them for big marks or color shapes. And that is exactly what I am doing with this pinkish beige color that I have. Because I wanted to draw people and nobody was there anymore once I had my coffee and I set up my sketchbook. So then I was just looking around and see like what is happening around me right now, what is catching my eye, and it was the repetition in the room. In a cafe like this, there are always a lot of chairs, and sometimes the chairs have different models, but in this case they all have the same shape and color and texture. So that became my very first focus, to create these repeating shapes basically in different sizes, because some are very close and some are far in the back. And I could do this with watercolor or with big chunky markers. It's really about slapping down color for the first big shapes that you see overall, and then later you can get into the details more. And by the time I started doing this, there were actually two people in the back of the cafe. So I used that same color for the faces and the skin that I see from here. I am picking a dark green colored pencil, which I think combines really well with the beige kind of pink of the gouache stick. And as you have seen me doing before, I am using my big chunky shapes as sort of a guide to understand where my lines should go. So I am not tracing the shapes, but I am using them. It is basically sort of coloring outside of the lines, but in the wrong order. I keep looking at the chairs and all the legs of the chairs, which can be very confusing, but if you just take it step by step, and if you don't take it too literal, you can get a long way with just shapes and some stocky pencil lines. You need to be a little bit gutsy to abbreviate and to trust that you are translating what you see in a fun way onto the paper. As long as you are having fun, the fun will be translated too. And when it's wonky, maybe that's even better. Now, before these people leave, I don't know if they will soon, I am quickly drawing their postures, and there is nothing of likeness in here. So this is something that a lot of people often ask me, like, I worry about the likeness when I draw people. Well, please stop worrying, because when drawing on location, you will never achieve any form of perfection. And I think that is actually for the better, because wonky and playful and weird, that is where a story is told in drawings and in art. Look at Picasso's work. Is there any likeness even? There is so much playfulness and so much creativity. And I am not, of course, saying that I am anything like Picasso, but I'm just trying to say, let go of perfection and really embrace the fun that you can have with just a stick of gouache color and a colored pencil. I see a lot more repetition, not just the repetition of the chairs that are all over the place, but the texture of the chairs also is a pattern in itself. And I love to add that in a little bit of a wonky way, so that there's more texture and more to see in the drawing, and it gives a certain liveliness. I'll also add a little bit of the background to give more context to the place. So I add the window, and then I realize, oh, there's more chairs and there's actually tables. Let me see if I can draw those. And now I'm actually taking advantage of the fact that there are no people sitting here. So before people will take in the place here and I won't see my subject anymore, I'm just going to keep on drawing these chairs before I do anything else. I abbreviate, because even though I sharpen my pencil, it gets blunt very quickly, and I love that. I can't really do very detailed lines or anything, and it's really not what I'm looking for. There's a coat hanging there and some other stuff going on here. A plant in the window, which I will abbreviate on again. I am looking at the big leaves and try to follow those shapes a little bit. And with the colored pencil, I can alternate with using pressure and less pressure. That way I can create that organic feeling around the shapes of leaves. And when you overlap things, like have that chair in front of part of that plant, that gives so much more sense of depth. It's one of those tricks you can use when you are drawing. And usually there is a lot of overlap if you look at a scene or at a view. I'm drawing the windows, and there are lamps that are in reality a little bit higher up, but I think they create part of the style of this place, so I really want to include that. And now there is this white space at the right hand side, so I look at what's going on there and see how I can abbreviate that and describe that. I also keep sharpening my colored pencil. I am now drawing the counter, and I do want to include the barista. When I started setting up, the barista was a little bit curious what I was doing. She was like, oh, cool, are you drawing? Are you filming this? And what's it for? And then we had this whole really lovely conversation about the things that you do for work and creativity, life choices. And she told me about her business. She's a cook, and she actually creates taste experience for people. It's all about flavor and about sharing. And so we had this lovely conversation, and we were really like smiling at each other and maybe inspiring each other too. So I'm super happy that I can just squeeze her in. She's behind the big espresso machine. She's part of this place, an important part. I've been back several times since, and just really made a friend by just being there and drawing there, sipping the coffee that she made with love, and chatting with her. Okay, there are some details on the counter. They aren't really that important. I think they add a lot of texture and also a little bit of rhythm, so that's good. And actually, this might be exactly what I need. This might be enough. I will write down where I am, and of course, when I'm drawing letters, because that is what writing is, I am so focused on drawing the shapes that sometimes I make a mistake and misspell. So we're at Livingston Coffee at the gate. My colored pencil is a little bit shorter, and together with the tempera stick, this was a really good palette and really good tools. Thank you for watching this video. I hope that this gives you a little push forward to go out and draw on location. Maybe you can go to a cafe and you don't need to set up with a camera and all that. Just go and have some fun and draw for just as long as you take to drink your coffee. So that might be a 5-minute drawing when you have a small espresso, or maybe a longer drawing when you like a large milky coffee that can also cool off and then still tastes good. So depending on that, you can also decide on how long you want to draw, how much time you want to spend drawing. Don't be afraid for people that could come up to you, because usually you will have a really nice conversation like I had with the barista. And now every time I visit the cafe, we're so happy to see each other and we greet each other as old friends. So this is what happens. You make friends when you are drawing. It's just a little reminder that you don't have to be afraid that people will think all kinds of things about you when you are drawing on location. And they also won't think things about your drawing like this sucks or whatever, because that's just in your head. Usually people just really like seeing someone working on a drawing, making art, because they would actually love to do the same thing and you might be inspiring them. So keep that in mind. Your assignment for this week is to go on location, find a repeating pattern, and if something else pops up instead of a repeating pattern, then go for that. Whatever catches your eye, whatever seizes your attention, that's what you're drawing. But anyway, your assignment for this week is to draw. And if you are making any art this week inspired on Draw Tip Tuesday, then I would really love to see it. I'm on Instagram, so you can tag me there if you post anything at Koosje Koenen. Then hopefully I will see it. I miss things on Instagram too. But of course, if you join me on Patreon, you get to join the Discord server, and there you can post your art. I will see it, especially if you tag me there. And other Patreons will see it too and give you feedback. It's a lovely community to be part of, so I invite you to come on over. I will share the link below this video. And I hope to see you there. And otherwise, subscribe to this channel at least, so that you don't miss out on my free YouTube videos every single week. And I will see you next week again. Bye.